All right, this is a demo of how we can establish a remote external connection to the Roborock S6 vacuum cleaner without it being on our network. For example, it's somewhere else, it's remotely accessible though, then we'll be able to still control it and get into the device. So let's look at my screen. Okay, so on the left, this is my computer, the one I'm currently recording on. We've got two IP addresses. One is 192.168.0.54, and the other one is a zero-tier IP address. So zero-tier 1, or zero-tier, it's a software-defined network. You can consider it as a, programmable network stack. And this allows us to kind of create some sort of VPN, not an anonymity one, but more just to interconnect devices that might be separated by region, location, to avoid any firewall or routing issues like, NAT, double natting, stuff like that. And so I've got both the computer on the left and the device on the right. So the device on the right is our vacuum cleaner, obviously. Let's just log in for a second. It's on a different network. I don't think I copied that password right. Whoops. Let's do it again. There we go. We can see in the IP addresses, we have connected to a different network. Let's go WPA CLI status, and we can see that we've connected to this other wireless network that we've just set up for testing security M. And it has an IP address of 10.10.10.8. So we shouldn't be able to connect to that from our desktop computer because they are on separate networks. Let's just go ahead and try that. We'll go ping once, and we'll try to ping that address. We should see that should be a timeout. Yep, request timed out, and we see 100% packets lost. So none of that, none of the ping, or the only ping packet, didn't reach the destination. And that makes sense because they are on separate networks. Cool. But what we do see is that this device also has zero-tier installed, and we have a zero-tier IP address of 10.147.20.251, which falls in the same network as this one here. So if I try to ping that, whoops, nope, that's not what I want. Copy that. If I try to ping that address, we should see that we are getting ping responses from this device on the right. Let's go ahead and try to SSH into it. So SSH, that's root to that address. And we should be able to see the SSH prompt. Here we do see it. And let's just press enter after putting the password. And we can see that we have gained access to the computer, or to the Roborock vacuum cleaner, via SSH through this zero-tier network here. And you can see that these two are showing the same thing, which kind of confirms that we have targeted the right device. So something to, I guess, also expand on is, persistence, right? So sure, this worked, but will it work if I turn off the device and restart the vacuum cleaner? Let's go ahead and try that. So let's reboot. And what you see here on the right should be the serial printout. So we can see that when it's all loaded and stuff like that, it's doing its rounds, and we can see here it's disconnected. So we can wait for that just to start up. It only takes a few seconds, and we've already reconnected back. Not reconnected. The server's running already, and we've gotten our log on prompt already. So there we go. Cool. So I've restarted the device, and we should be able to ping it again within a few seconds. Put in the password again, and hopefully, if I copy the password right, no, I didn't. Let's try that again. We should have access back to the shell. There we go. So I've just restarted it. You can see proof of that. There's very little packet counts from before, where it was a few thousand. And yeah, so we now have persistent access to the device. So what does this mean? I could give it to someone else and still be able to SSH into into the robot from their network, and then I could do malicious things. So now that I am on, let's say, I have SSH'd into the robot, and let's say it's someone else's device, we could start looking at let's say the ARP tables or stuff like that. Nothing interesting here, just because it's an isolated network. But let's we do a UDP dump or a TCP dump. I think it's I0. We could start looking at data that's going through their network that is getting picked up and going through the access point, stuff like that. So potential snooping, and I could even ping, I don't know, what can I ping? 10.10.10.1, stuff like that. So now I can go through their router, could hypothetically access the router like that. There's no curl, never mind, stuff like that. Or I could even, do something like a port forward over SSH. So yeah, it's quite powerful once you have, an external persistent connection. It opens a whole can of worms, or whatever the saying is. Basically, now you have access as a jump host to the other person's network. So potentially dangerous. Cool.